Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is October 11th, and I decided to come on here just to show you guys how bruised and battered I am, to show you exactly how I feel. So I've had the roughest 3 nights at work, like the roughest 3 nights in probably maybe all of my history of working at my job. So I'm status post being verbally assaulted at my job, status post almost getting kicked by another patient, status post annoying family member, lack of sleep, a little exhaustion is in the mix there. And I could have called out of work because I'm really good when it comes to my attendance, but I didn't call out for a few reasons. Ever since Sunday, my assignment has been bad, and I decided to keep the same assignment for Monday night, thinking that everything was settled and, you know, things will change, because sometimes it starts like that. It starts off rough and it gets a little bit better. So that was probably the biggest mistake, because the same assignment that I had on Monday night, I asked to swap out one patient, and it was like it didn't even make that much of a difference. I was on skates, on my feet, running around crazy the whole 3 nights. So why didn't I call out, you ask, right? So number one, I decided to be a good sport, because I figured if I call out, they're gonna be short. And most recently, we've been working with 8 nurses on my unit as opposed to 7, and it's been making the load much lighter and the workflow a little bit easier. So I figured if I didn't call out, I could be, you know, it would be beneficial to the unit. That's reason number one. Reason number two is because I'm like, I mean, can I really handle it? I can handle work. Like, I'm not gonna run away from work. I'm not scared of work. I know how to maneuver and to manage and to pretty much stabilize patients and situations. And number three, my job is recognizing people who have been at my institution for 5 years since their hire date. And they were supposed to be giving out pins and I guess breakfast or whatever the case is this morning. And I've been looking forward towards this day since Sunday, because I said if I call out, I know I'm not going to be able to get this pin. Ask me if I got the pin. I ran out of my job like a bat out of hell and did not look back. I realized that I did not get the pin when I pulled into the driveway, and I looked at the form that they gave, giving the instructions, kind of like an invitation. I looked at it. I don't even know where or when I'm going to get the pin, and I quite honestly don't care. So I don't know how much content I'm going to get today, because guys, I'm tired. I'm not in the best of moods, and I just kind of got to shake out of this, because, you know, tomorrow I got to go to work in the morning. So I'm here just finalizing some things with the vlog that was uploaded today, vlog number 40. I'm not that chick, and 2P's NP's sitting at the bar. I have my lox bagel, lox and cream cheese, and that's pretty much it. Like, I have some tea. I'll drink some tea, wash my hair out, and that's pretty much it for today. Tomorrow at work, I have evaluations with the students. You want to come in? Come through. I have evaluations with my students, so I have to get some paperwork printed and copies and all this other stuff for the morning. And that's what it's looking like, guys. So I'll see you all tomorrow. The purpose of me meeting up with this advisor is to really get some of my debt, and it's really my debt for the most part, maybe eradicated, or find a way to have my debt maybe consolidated for a lower interest rate or something. So I did go to nursing school. That's the obvious, Kim, but I went to a private school. I went to Adelphi University, and it's a private university. I unfortunately did not receive a lot of financial aid, such as like Pell and TAP and all this other stuff. I'm not sure if, I think it's a combination of the fact that my parents made too much money, and maybe I just didn't know how to fill out the paperwork correctly, but I accrued a lot of debt over the course of me being in school. Now, I did get a scholarship, but the scholarship that they gave me, in comparison to how much the tuition was, didn't really do much. It didn't really help much. It was like $7 grand for the year. That's like $3,500 a semester. $3,500, that's like 2 credits. Or 3 credits maybe, you know. But anyway, so yes, I did accrue a lot of debt while I was in school, and I really wasn't concerned so much of how much debt I was accruing, because I'm like, I'm gonna graduate, I know I'm gonna pass my test, I know I'm gonna get a job, and the field that I'm going into is it's a good paying field. I know I'm gonna be able to pay my debt off and not be struggling, or you know, disabled, or feeling like I'm stifled by this money that I owe. So everything started off okay. Like, I'm not final problem, I'm making this amount of money, and my debt is this much. It's not that bad. But my problem is now that when I was 22, I was not thinking the same way that I'm thinking now that I'm 27 years old. You know, when I was 22, I'm like, yeah, what, I don't have any expenses, I don't care, whatever, I'll just pay this debt. Whatever's left of my paycheck, I'll just save it, I'll just spend it, whatever. But I think literally, like, when I hit 25, I was like, Kim, like, you gotta change your whole concept. Granted, I don't come from money, so when I need to make an expense, I do make my expenses with no problem. But also, I'm the person who would deprive myself and say, nope, I don't need that, I'm not gonna get that. So there's no in between me. I'm either caviar or freaking imitation crab meat, quite honestly. And I'm okay with that, you know. So now that I'm gonna be 28 in a few months, and you know, I'm changing my whole game plan. I'm setting new goals. I'm like creating new plans for myself, and I want to speak to an advisor to see if I can probably get something done with these loans. So if you've heard of if you're a nurse, or like maybe a nurse practitioner or a nurse educator, whatever the case is, there's something called the HRSA, I believe. That is an organization that has a loan forgiveness program that they open up to all nurses in various fields and various specialties who have a lot of debt. And for the past 5 years, guys, no lie, is it 5 years? I think it's for the past 4 years now. I've been applying, and every time I apply, I am not approved, only because they say that my debt to income ratio is not high enough. So in order for you to be approved and for you to get some time, are you guys shaking? Still shaking. All right, much better. So in order for you to be approved, your debt to income ratio has to be extremely high. Like, you need to be living at a poverty level, because you have so much debt and you're making money and you're not able to sustain, you know, a good lifestyle. So I don't meet that criteria, because yeah, I do have debt, but I still live at home with my parents, so I don't have any real expenses aside from my debt. And you know, like my phone bill, my car, you know, my car insurance, like nothing crazy. So I don't meet that criteria, but it's okay. After applying for all these years, I'm like, I'm just over it. So what I'd rather do is see if I can get someone to explain to me what options there are for loans and maybe loan forgiveness or loan refinance or consolidation, because I hear so many different things and everybody has an opinion. But I'd rather speak to somebody who's an expert in the field. So now that we're getting closer to the end of the year, we're already in October. I mean, like, the year has flown by. Like, just the other day I started my YouTube channel, right? Like, guys, like, don't you guys remember the first video? And it just comes to show that, like, you know, life is not waiting. So if you're somebody with a plan and you're not really doing anything or taking any action towards that plan, you might as well just throw that plan out into the garbage. Just throw it out the window. Don't worry about it, because you sitting here saying that I want to do this and I want to be this, meanwhile you're not taking the necessary steps to actually make those goals and those plans come true. Who benefits? You know, who benefits out of stuff like that? So I mean, I don't know if I want to talk about it now. maybe a little bit later, you guys will have an idea of some things that I want to accomplish relatively soon. But I just want to get, you know, my situation in order. If you're anything like myself, and you're in your 20s or maybe in your 30s, and you're so grateful to have your parents still in your life, you may have these conversations with them where they frequently remind you that you are not where you're supposed to be in comparison to where they were at your age. For example, my mom and my dad each came to the United States in their early 20s. My dad just packed up, I think my dad, he said he was 21 or 22 when he came to the United States, just packed up his bags and said, I'm going to America because I want, you know, a better chance at life. And the same went for my my mom. She just packed up her stuff and was like, I'm gonna go try this out. But my mom did not intend to stay here in the States forever. She just wanted to come here, make her money, and go back. Okay. So yeah, my mom decided that she wanted to just make her money, make enough money actually, and then just go back to Haiti. You know, she ended up meeting my dad. They fell in love, and they had me. So here she is, she's stuck in the United States. But the thing that I love about my parents is that they both had this determination and this hustle. And granted, of course, they didn't know each other when they were back in Haiti, but they both came here with the same intentions. Like, you know, I'm gonna grind it out, and I'm just gonna come out here and do the best that I can and make a better life for myself and potentially, if I have kids, you know, my future. So my parents were having a conversation not too long ago, just randomly, and my dad was like, do you remember back in the day when we first met, we couldn't even afford like 2 plates of Chinese food? Like, we would have to buy 1 plate and share it, stuff like that. And my mom would say, do you remember when we used to live in this apartment in Brooklyn and it was freezing cold? And my mom and my dad would say, do you remember? So everybody's awesome, do you remember, do you remember? And it just brought them to the current state of how they're living now, and them saying like, but I'm happy that we made it, because look where we are now, look how we're living now, and look what we're able to do, and just look at the life that we've created together. And it was so touching, it was so beautiful. I mean, they didn't do it to make us so like mushy and gushy, but of course, you know, I was in my feelings. So I'm like, that's awesome, that's great. So that's why, like, sometimes I really go hard and I try to do the best that I can just to kind of make them happy. I don't care how old I am, and I don't care how old I will be, I will always want to make my parents proud of me. And they didn't bust their behinds and come here and do all that they needed to do and sacrifice for me to be a bum, or for me to be mediocre, or for me to be average. That's just me personally. Everybody can have a different perspective, but me, I don't think that that's a good way to say thank you and to show my gratitude to them. So I try my best to always push forward, to do the best that I can, to make them happy, and, you know, to kind of like, am I on the right path? Yes. And to also, you know, just like give them something to talk about. That's me. That's just me personally. So I'm back from the session. I have no more water left. And it was actually really, really informative. Really informative. Definitely a reality check. But that's what I really, you know, I needed. So some of the things that I went over with the counselor, he had another young lady come sit in on the session because she's in training. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Of course, it's not that deep, you know. So some of the things that I learned, or some of the things that he told me, or they told me about in terms of my options, of course, they're like, of course you can refinance, you can consolidate your loans. But they started to, guys, first things first, before I even get into that, make sure you know and make sure you're financially aware of if you do have any loans or whatever. It could be credit cards, it could be mortgage, it can be student loans, whatever loans you have. Make sure you know what you're paying, how much you're paying, and what you're paying towards. So they were asking me questions about, of course, like how much do you pay per month, and I told them, okay, in total I have these many loans, and in total I pay this much per month. They said, okay, so from that amount, how much is going towards the principal and how much is going towards the interest? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it should be on the statement. And then he goes, okay, have you noticed that the total value of everything that you're paying is going down? Like when you look at the total amount that's left on the loan, is it going down? And I'm sitting there like, I don't know. I just pay. Like I don't even log in really to look at all of the information that he's asking me. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, you can consolidate your loans, of course. You can refinance your loans, maybe through the lender or through another bank that that you like, or someone that's going to give you a good rate. You can get a personal loan, which may be for a short amount of time, obviously, which may be like maybe 5 years. It might be more money, but just know that in 5 years you'll be done, as opposed to a student loan, which is like maybe like a 20-year, 15-20-year bid. So the final offer that he made, or final thing that he suggested, which I liked the most, but guys, honestly, I know that it makes sense. I know it's gonna be the best thing for me, but it's not something that I'm 100% like, yes, let's do it. He said just to pay off the loans that I could pay off, and I'm like, but I don't want to. Like, I don't want to, but I have to. I know that eventually these loans are gonna have to be paid off, because obviously I don't qualify for this loan repayment, this loan forgiveness thing. I'm gonna have to pay these loans off one way or another, today or tomorrow. Whether I'm young or old, I'm gonna have to pay these things off. But he was saying that if you have any loans, sometimes if you just call the service lender and if you just call the lender and let them know that you are willing to pay everything off right now, they will likely give you a much lower amount than whatever is left in total of the loan. Like for example, let's say I have a credit card that I'm paying that has a total balance of $5,000 left for me to pay, and I'm making $100 payments per month. If I call the credit card company and say, I'm trying to pay this right now, I'm trying to pay everything off right now, give me an amount, like let's come to a conclusion, or let's devise some type of agreement, that it's possible that they can say, all right, we'll take $3,000 from you right now. So of course in the long run you're saving, because if you owed $5,000 and they're taking only $3,000 from you, you're saving $2,000. Now the only problem is, do you have that money on hand to pay whatever it is that they're asking for? So my goal, I'm gonna come back to this guy. I like the session that we did today. I'm gonna go back in about 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks I should have something in order. I will keep you guys updated, and hopefully this helps somebody. I don't know who is watching this who has some financial struggles, but tackle them and get them under control, because whatever you owe, like, you gonna pay these people what you owe them. Like, this is one thing about the government, and it's one thing about loans and money that you took that's not really yours. You're gonna pay these people what you owe them. You may not pay them on the front end, you're gonna pay them on the back end. Give the people their money. Just give it back, so that at least you can have some type of weight lifted off your shoulders and you have a little bit more freedom. So I'm done rambling for the day, guys. I'm actually gonna head back home, buy some stuff for girls' night tomorrow. Maybe the other girls. 6, 3, 4. I don't know. You pick. 4? Yeah. Let's go with that. Go ahead. I have some. And I'm gonna try to, like, I was thinking that as I was walking. I'm sorry, I have you carrying the heavy stuff. But I got the more heavy duty things over here. Can I unlock this?
I look a mess.
Too late. Hey, boo.
Hi.
Happy Saturday, y'all. It's girls' night. So we're having a Carbfest tonight. These here are shrimp and pineapple skewers. We have Alfredo, chicken Alfredo, Carbfest. This is salad with shrimp and everything. Whole bunch of goodness. These here are baked clams. We have salad for the healthy folks. Come on, no, put it here, babe. Come here, put it here. Open it up for me. What you got?
I made a penne alla vodka.
Huh? Penne with homemade vodka sauce?
Yeah.
With real life vodka sauce?
Yeah.
All right now. All right, so it's focusing? Yes. Penne alla vodka, yes. This is so cheesy and so good. Is this ham?
No, it's bacon. Turkey bacon.
Turkey bacon.
Yeah.
Do you love me or not? You love me and you know me. Garlic bread. And a whole bunch of wines. A selection, whole selection. Chard, sangria, white sangria, red sangria, Taylor port, infused, what's this thing called? Iced tea. And yeah, guys.
Yeah, I would have to go from like the 16 to the 20.
16 to the 20? I can't make it.
Damn.
The following weekend.
Because I don't want to take everybody's week. That's the thing.
So then just take it from the 20th.
I'm free, Karen. People who want to go will go. That's it. Like,
So if we leave on the 20th, that means we're traveling all day on the 20th? And we'll arrive until the 21st? Is that what you're saying?
so my thing is like, if I'm traveling from 8 p.m.
Something, man.
So this is what happens when all of your friends are professionals. Everybody has a license, everybody has a job, full-time career, and people are trying to find vacation time. So we're trying to go to Hawaii. When your friends can't hang. But why? Don't cover your face. Don't cover your face. They can't hang.